Texas Heist was designed, and the thesis of this, it always started with Ken Paxton talking about he became a Texas House member back in 2002. When the Texas House flipped from Democrat to Republican, and about he was part of the original guys that thought that, New Day, Republicans had captured the legislature in Texas. We're going to have conservative legislation. And he went through the history of how it's gone. I won't bore you with those details. But essentially, the thesis of this movie, documentary, was the Democrats run the Texas House. Okay? And they asked all these grassroots leaders, including Matt Rinaldi, including the SREC member who's the head of the Legislative Priorities Committee, Jill Glover, and others, about what their experiences were and how the Texas House runs. And Sullivan's, and every one of these grassroots leaders said, no, the Dems have captured the mind of these establishment Republicans. Even though they had the minority, these guys get their power by teaming up with the Democrats to go against the conservatives in the House. The leadership of the Texas House now is beholden to the Democrats. Okay, and the biggest proof of that is the Paxton impeachment. Who is it really wanted to see Paxton impeached? It's the Democrats. Because Ken Paxton is the most effective champion we have against the federal onslaught on a whole bunch of things that we have at the state level in Texas. He's a lot more effective than Greg Abbott, right? So, and the Democrats hate that. They wanted to bring him down. They've been talking about bringing Ken Paxton down for a long time. They persuaded the establishment, who, by the way, one of the things that came out in this movie, which is an interesting historical fact, when the model switched in 2009 to where the Dems go with a few Republican betrayers to produce a speaker that is beholden to the Dems with Joe Strauss, the next time around, Ken Paxton ran against Joe Strauss as the conservative against the Republican betrayers. So the enmity between the establishment Republicans in the Texas House goes back more than a decade in Texas. Okay, so they were happy to go along with the Dems, but the Dems were the primary guys on this. Okay, so but okay, we can now have more proof that the Dems run the Texas House and have completely captured the mindset of the establishment of the Texas House. Okay, what is that proof? It is this Alinsky-style race, accuse your opponent of being a racist, falsely accusing your opponent of being a racist type attack that they've chosen to launch on any establishment challengers and Dan Patrick. Anybody who supported Ken Paxton and opposed their impeachment. They're launching that sort of attack. And they're also launching it on some of the money men who are doing that. Now, I will tell you, I'm kind of pissed off at the guys who, in this Defend Liberty PAC, that allowed this to happen. They should have known that this guy, this Fuentes guy, it was toxic because he's already tried to take down Trump. These guys are supposed to be political activists and in the know guys. Didn't they know that they've already tried to take down Trump? Well, the lefties use the same tactic to come in and engineer some sort of deal here. But somebody in that organization was stupid enough to fall for it. So
what Tom's talking about is
yes.
Nick Fuentes went with Kanye West to Mar-a-Lago, and Trump didn't know Fuentes.
In Milo, what's his name?
Yiannopoulos.
Yeah.
Didn't know, but he knew Kanye, so he's just...
Who has his own anti-Semitic problems. Go ahead.
And it's just crazy.
Uh-huh.
So he says, oh, sit down. Well, that was all it took. And then they were poised. I mean, it was a setup from the whole... And this thing was a setup, too. When Nick Fuentes comes in and they get a tip at the Texas Tribune.
Who did the tip? Was it Nick himself?
Yeah, because they knew the destination. They weren't like tracking him and following his car. They knew the destination and they were there all day to film it. So who was Fuentes coming into Texas to set up
Right.
I don't know.
I mean, for
Could have been the
me,
guy he met with, but maybe he meant to parlay that into a bigger fish.
Well, it's like all the leaks that take place in Washington.
right.
It's like they're always,
But this is a narrative that the FBI is pushing, the Justice Department, that the biggest threat to America,
Is white
other than climate change, is white supremacists. And so they don't just wait for an opportunity to come along, they create opportunities.
They have whole cadres of guys going around in these spiffy uniforms, young, clean-cut looking guys, who you know are feds. Are feds. I mean, if Nick Winters came in here and I recognized him, I still got to get his face. If he came in and I recognized him, I'd just go, fed, 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 fed. They're agent provocateurs. And the House leadership is using lefty tactics to bash on conservatives and grassroots people to make it take a hold on their own power. And Stan Gertis is just fine with following their lead. That's what's going on in this race. So, I mean, it's an epic battle. And the deal is, they have lots of resources. It probably costs Stan somewhere between $50,000 and $20,000 for every glossy mailer that you're getting in your mailbox. Okay? He's already spent out 2 of his own, and Dave sent another one for him in the last 2 weeks, 3 in the last 2 weeks, plus the launch of this Tom Glass and neo-Nazis attack. So they're serious, they're desperate, they're vicious. And the deal is, and they're well funded. The only way we're going to win this, the deal is the grassroots, like you guys are here, y'all know what's going on. Most people who come to the Republican primary to vote don't know what's going on at the State House. They pay attention to what's going on in D.C. because they listen to their talk shows and that you hear about what's happening in the U.S. House and what's happening for president. Okay? But they don't get Texas scorecard. And they don't pay attention to the news. And the challenge for the grassroots challengers, including me and you, who I'm hoping are on my team this time around, is to make sure that the ordinary GOP voter who is conservative, we know that because they vote for conservative resolutions when they're put in front of them, that they know what the story is. And I mean, there's some people that I ran into that come to the Republican primary who think, I want to vote straight Republican. They don't even understand that this is a choice for who's going to be the best Republican nominee, okay? And they certainly don't know who the incumbent is or who the challenger is or anything about what the issues are that's differentiating. The challenge for us is with the limited resources we have to be able to reach out to those people who don't know or don't pay attention to what's going on in the State House race and what's going on in the Texas legislature in this epic battle that's raging at the moment. So, and I have 2 solutions for doing that. One is, we as grassroots, through my campaign, I hope, and I'm going to start this soon, we're going to start having the weekly teleconferences of the grassroots, and we're going to run a volunteer organization that's going to volunteer block walk, volunteer text, volunteer email to buddies. We're going to network every way we can, because in the country you can't block walk to people. All you have to network to them. We're going to start doing volunteer networking, and we're going to start doing volunteer fundraising to raise the money so I can do a few glossy mailers of my own when it matters, right before the deal. That's the grassroots, that's the ground game, okay? The air game is this. There is one person in this day and age that the Republican